Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I will be reviewing the latest product from Thin Lizzy, and that's the Flawless Complexion Liquid Foundation Kit. And I purchased mine from Farmers, New Zealand, and this retails for $45. And I believe Unichem Pharmacy sells them as well. Or a better option is to go to their official website and purchase it off there. And this kit comes with a liquid foundation, a blurring brush, and a blurring sponge. They have 8 shades, which I think is not the best shade range, but one thing I like is that each shade has a description on which skin tone suits it best. So they would describe it as, say, a fair to light skin tone with pink undertone or yellow undertone or neutral/olive undertone. Overall value of this box retails for $60, so this is such a great steal. So the foundation looks like this, and it comes in a glass bottle, and this contains 28 ml of product. And I have the blurring sponge, which looks a little bit different. It has like a hourglass shape with an edge and also like a divot where you can actually hold onto the sponge, and it feels very hard. So the blurring sponge has been designed to apply foundation around the delicate area and the hard to reach areas of the nose. So I'm guessing this tip right here was specifically made to go under the eyes or around the nose area. And if you could see, there's like a slight angle on the side where you can easily hold the product. It says that this sponge is best used dampened. In the kit, it also comes with a blurring brush, which looks like this. It kind of looks like a tangle teaser. This blurring brush is made out of synthetic fibers, which will seamlessly blur away any imperfections, ensuring even, flawless coverage. The shape of the brush is designed to fit comfortably in the palm of your hand, which I agree, and it allows you to maneuver the brush on the face during the application. The tip that they give is to not wash this with water and soap because you could actually damage the fibers. Instead, you just rub it against microfiber cloth and spray it with like a brush cleaner or alcohol, which I think is very good. So the description for the foundation, it says that it gives a picture perfect finish. The foundation wears on your skin all day. It won't come off until you take it off, and it's specifically designed for New Zealand climate. It's water and sweat resistant, and it is applicable on any age or skin type, whether you have oily, dry combination skin or dry skin. This will work for you. What I like about this, it comes with a pump, which is very convenient. Mind you, the shade looks a little bit light, but when you actually pump it onto your hand, it looks a bit darker. So just keep that in mind, because I think the frosted glass has to do with that. Here is what Hoola looks like. It kind of looks a little bit light against my skin tone, but as I was watching it at the store, this is the closest that matches my skin tone, and it oxidized a little bit into like a yellow orange undertone. So what I'm going to do is to prime my face, and for that I'm just going to use my normal primer, which is the e.l.f. poreless primer. This does not necessarily make my foundation last, but it does fill in my pores and fine lines. I will apply the foundation according to the directions they have on the website. So one pump, it comes off as that much. The consistency is not too runny, it's not too thick as well, it's kind of in the middle. As you can see on my swatch, it already oxidized. I am going to use the blurring brush to apply it all over my face. I dotted pretty much this much foundation, but as I was going to blend it, nothing happened. It didn't really cover anything on my face, especially my imperfections, so it kind of just wiped away the foundation, which is strange. We'll try on this side. So right off the bat, it gave me a very light coverage, and I could see a lot of streakiness from the bristles of the blurring brush. It didn't necessarily blur anything because I could still see like my textures. We'll see what it looks like when I build up the coverage. So I'm gonna use another pump. The coverage is still the same. I really do feel like this blurring brush doesn't work because I could still see streakiness, and there's like a hair that came off the brush, and it doesn't really blur anything or apply the foundation properly. Like I tried to do the what's it called, circular motion, and I kind of mix it with a little bit of tap and swipe, but the streaks are still there. It's very visible, and the coverage did not build at all. For me, it kind of stayed from light coverage to medium light coverage. It says that the coverage is buildable, but I feel like if I use this brush, I don't see it being full coverage at all. Some people might like it, but personally, in my opinion, I don't like this brush. For me, it's a womp. I'm going to zoom in to let you guys see what I mean about streakiness. So as you can see right there, it did not cover anything at all, and I put 2 full pumps. So my skin looks a little bit greasy because I feel like I put a lot of product already, but the brush didn't really do a good job. So what I'm going to do is actually try the sponge. So this is what the sponge looks like dry. This is what the sponge looks like after soaking it in water, and I could definitely tell that it increased in size, but it feels hard. Personally, I prefer the Kmart sponge better, but we'll see how this foundation works. So what I'm going to do is apply another pump, and hopefully this will fix the coverage on my face, because at the moment I feel like I've put a lot of foundation but it did not cover anything at all. Actually use the bottom bit, and then when we apply a concealer, I'm going to use the edge to see if it actually lives up to its description, where it can get the crevices of my under eye area and my nose area. It gave a little bit of coverage. It soaked up a little bit of the product. As you can see, there's like a buildup there. It does not feel amazing on the skin, I'm telling you that. I feel like I'm beating my face with a stone or something. It gave me a little bit of coverage, though I don't necessarily like the feeling of it. The color match is, I think it's a little bit spot on. It's a tad bit off in terms of my undertone, but I could work with it with concealer and stuff. So the sponge definitely smoothed out a little bit on my face, though I would say that it's looking medium coverage on my skin. Like I don't have the redness and stuff, but I could still see my skin. So the finish is a little bit sticky. So if you have oily skin like I do, you definitely have to set this foundation. It has a satin finish. It kind of feels a little bit heavy on the skin, not gonna lie. I think because I piled on 3 pumps of foundation. If I have to pick my application, if I were to use my foundation brush, I feel like it would give me full coverage. But for now, since we're reviewing this kit, I feel like it's fairly decent. I don't like this sponge at all, nor this brush, because both of them don't apply the foundation as much as I would love them to do. So now what I'm going to do is quickly apply my concealer. So I'm going to use the precision tip. You know what? The sponge is terrible when applying your foundation, especially this tip right here. But the other side, which is the precision tip, actually feels not soft, not the softest, but it feels decent enough to be able to blend your foundation, or I mean your concealer. If I have to touch it like this, it kind of feels like my ring finger. So I feel like the precision tip is great for applying your concealer. I wouldn't necessarily use this to apply my foundation. It's very precise around the eye area. It actually like gets into the crevices of your eyes and also the fine lines. It kind of smooths that as well, and it's great for around the nose. But the thing is, if I were to have a sponge, I would rather have it where I could use it multiple ways rather than have one sponge for each use, if you know what I mean. The time right now is 9:52 a.m. and this is what my face is looking like after I've set my foundation and applied bronzer, blush, highlight, and all that jazz. So I really like the finish that the foundation gives. Once it's set, it doesn't feel as heavy as when I first applied it. It looks a little bit flawless, but because I have a little bit of dry patches here, it kind of clinged onto that. But other than that, it was sitting on my skin beautifully. It doesn't feel like it's on top of my skin. I feel like if I used a beauty sponge that I normally use or a foundation brush that I normally use, this foundation would look absolutely great on my skin. So what I'm going to do is wear this foundation throughout the day, because it did say that it is made for New Zealand climate as well as it lasts all day. So we'll see what it will look like. Hi beautiful, the time right now is 2:15 p.m. and I'm about to head to work, and this is what the foundation looks like. Looking at it on natural lighting, it doesn't look oily at all. Everything is still there, the coverage is still there, and my face looks luminous, but it's not to the point where it looks oily or greasy. So I could definitely get out of my way wearing this foundation. So far so good. I will check in with you guys at the end of the night. Hi beautiful, I'm back. The time right now is 6:55, so I've worn this foundation for another 4 hours and a bit after I did my checkup. And looking on the monitor and in the mirror, I am definitely so greasy. I have to say that the foundation definitely clinged on the parts of my face where there's acne that are healing, but overall it's still there. The blush and the bronzer and the highlight is still visible. The coverage is somewhat decent, though around the chin area and around the mouth area it starts to look cakey a little bit, so I'm going to go up close. Wearing this foundation for 8 hours and a bit, it feels like my skin, though I kind of feel a little bit greasy and a little bit heavy. So what I'm going to do is actually use the sponge, but I'm going to use the precision tip to blot away oiliness on my skin. So comparing this side of my face to this side, it definitely took off the excess oil. If you wanted to try this kit, I would suggest for you to skip it and try the foundation instead. It has the same finish as my NARS Sheer Glow foundation actually, because that foundation is great for oily skin as well. So now that I've blotted, I will actually try to set the areas of my face with a translucent powder to see what it will look like. So here's what the foundation looks like after touching up. I feel like I could definitely push this foundation further, except for the fact that it started caking up around this area. So I think what I would suggest is to put less around the areas that you know you have dry patches, or prep them, because it starts to look very textured and dry, especially here. But everywhere else around my face it looks great. The foundation definitely lived up to its claims that it is long lasting, but The tools, I will definitely pass on these ones. Thin Lizzy is a brand that is not very well known. It's only known, I believe, in New Zealand and Australia. And mind you, even though they're the same company, they also cater to different people. So this one specifically caters for New Zealand climate, which I think is pretty good. But other than that, this is a great foundation and I would highly recommend this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates and I will catch you on the next video. Bye!